Hello there! Are you all ready for this session? Lovely. So allow me to take you to a land of endless seas, stranded sailors, supernatural activities, and the senseless murder of an innocent bird. Sounds intriguing, isn't it? And this is what we will experience as we read the poem, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. I'm sure you will enjoy what I have in store for you. But before we go there, let me brief you a little about the poet, Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Now, Coleridge was an English poet, a literary critic, and a philosopher. Born on the 21st of October 1772, he was the son of Reverend John Coleridge, a well-respected priest of St. Mary's Church and the headmaster of the King's School. The poem that we shall read today was published in 1798 in a collection of poems called Lyrical Ballads. The book contained the poems by Coleridge and his equally talented friend, William Wordsworth. Coleridge travelled to Germany in September 1798. There he absorbed many ideas from German philosophers like Immanuel Kant. After he returned to England, Coleridge translated 2 German plays. Also, his poems had been a source of influence for the major poets of his time. Even today, Coleridge is a very important name in the field of English poetry. His poems dealt with the supernatural phenomenon. He made use of intricate symbolism and dream-like vividness that portrays a rich imagery. He was known by his colleagues as a very intricate craftsman who carefully reworked his poems more rigorously than any other poet. Probably one of his best-known poems is the ballad, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Now, a ballad is typically a poem that narrates a story and can be sung because of its rhyming pattern. This pattern of composing poems was quite popular amongst many romantic poets. The Rime of the Ancient Mariner is a ballad that tells us a very enthralling tale of the supernatural events that occur on a ship at sea. Now that we know about the poet, let us recite the poem together. It is ancient mariner, and he stoppeth one of 3. By thy long grey beard and glittering eye, now wherefore stoppest thou me? Now we shall look at each stanza individually in order to understand this poem in detail. So let's read the first stanza of the poem. It is an ancient mariner, and he stoppeth one of 3. By thy long grey beard and glittering eye, now wherefore stoppest thou me? Now in these lines, we are introduced to the central character of the poem, the ancient mariner. He stops one of 3 guests on their way to a wedding celebration. Obviously, the wedding guest is in a hurry and tries to resist the strange old man with a long grey beard and glittering eye. What do you think the strange old man wants from the wedding guest? Well, we shall read and understand further. But before that, let's look at a few noteworthy words from this stanza. So the first word that I want you to look at is mariner. And the word mariner means a sailor. The next word we have here is glittering. It means shining brightly with flashing points of light. Then we have the word stoppeth. This word is in archaic or Old English, and it means to stop. The next word we have here is thy, which is again in archaic English. It literally means your. And finally, we have the word thou. It means you in archaic English. Now that we have looked at the noteworthy words from this stanza, let's look at some significant figures of speech. First, let's take a look at this line. By thy long grey beard and glittering eye. So what do you notice about these lines? In each line, there is a repetition of the same sound. Do you remember what this is called? Exactly. It's called alliteration. It means when the sound of the first or second letter gets repeated in a series of words that are adjacent or closely connected to each other in the same line. Now in this line here, the sound of G is repeated, which gives it a poetic effect. So, alliteration is the occurrence of the same consonant letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. Now, another important thing you should note here is the rhyming words. Now, the words three and me rhyme with each other in the above stanza. Now, the poet has followed a very interesting rhyming pattern in this poem. As we read each stanza, make a note of the rhyming words, and I shall elaborate on it towards the end of this part of the poem. That being said, let us take a look at the second stanza of the poem. Tutormate. For more amazing video lectures, download the free app on the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.